Saturday night
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture.
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. We are here on a Sunday night, and for your fun and amusement, welcome to Kathy and Kenny Explain, 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 Explain.
What are you doing?
Explain, 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 explain.
Okay, I can't. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I can't hear Kathy at all. So we are doing Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture, and we are here to have a good time. Kathy's going to work out some technical difficulties. And in the meantime, in between time, welcome to Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. We do this every Saturday night usually, but Kathy has some things to do. So here we are on a Sunday night, here to entertain you with our pop culture. Now tonight, we're going to be talking about movies that were dramas and switched over to musicals. So, and then we're going to start off with some pop culture news. And, we're going to have a good time with it. So, I'm stalling because I don't know where my sister is. And I'm trying to find my list. And I just all over the place today to myself. So that's what happens when you do it on a Sunday night instead of a Saturday. That's what happens. But we're gonna get through this. We're gonna have a good time anyway. So Lisa, how you doing, cousin? It's good to see you in here. If you're in the chats, please sign in. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're here, and so we can talk. Our favorite movie is the original Color Purple, and I love the way they saying God's trying to tell you something. Yeah, you know what? When they say, we're going to talk about that. We're going to unpack that because I watched the new Color Purple, and I just got things. I got things and opinions, and my opinions don't,
Testing.
encompass what we all think on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. But, it's pretty good. So we're going to start off with some pop culture news.
I
Are you
think
back?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
You are back. I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what happened, but like the roadcaster was not responding to anything. And
Really?
I had all I was hearing was a hum, a strange
Oh,
hum. So it was funky weird. And I apologize. I don't know.
don't be
Anyway.
sorry. Just don't do it again.
Well, let's hope. I got no control over this thing. This boat is just sailing.
Okay.
Good to
Let's
see
get
you
right
too,
into pop
Lisa,
culture
in the
news.
mix.
Let's get right into pop culture news. First bit of news that we have is the reunion of the Different World cast. So the cast of Different World,
Yes.
not all of them.
A
I
different
think
world is back. It's a
actors,
different world from
yeah,
where you come
Dwayne
from.
Wayne, all the younger actors. It's going to be like 6 of them. They are going to be, because they're older now, of course, but they're going to be touring HBCUs.
Now
And I
they
guess,
had a picture online, and it looks like Lisa Bonet was in the picture, but her name wasn't
yeah,
listed among the people who were supposed to be a part of the tour. Is she going to be on the tour? Or are they leaving her out again?
I think they might leave her out again.
That's a dang on shame. I'm
Hey,
just
you know
saying.
what? I think Lisa Bonet probably wants to be left out.
Okay. Don't move. Don't. You know what? I don't. When you do that on the couch and you move back, your sound goes back. So kind
Okay,
of
I'm
stay
sorry.
forward. Remember
I'm
that.
sorry.
You tend
Step
to do
forward.
that a lot. So stay forward. Hey, Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, so look, Lisa Bonet is happy chilling at home off that Jason Momoa money. She ain't doing the tour.
I
She ain't
thought they
doing the
broke
tour.
up.
No, they back together. She ain't
Okay. Thank
stupid.
you so much, JoJo. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Sunday night.
Yeah, Jojo, thank you.
Oh, they are still together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got back together. They broke up and then they got back together.
Oh, they got that Will and Jada drama.
Yeah, well, I don't think they have the Will and Jada drama so much.
Oh, let's hope not.
Um,
Let's hope she's not sleeping with her son's friends and telling everybody about it on a Facebook Live.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't.
You
I
know
hope
what? It
she's
takes
not.
me back to that Lisa Keys song, just like Will and Jada. Oh, not
Yeah,
anymore.
not,
Woo!
but
Used to be
if
just
she's
like Will and Jada.
sleeping with her son's friends, I will happily be one of her son's friends. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing my cards out there on the table.
Yikes. The other bit of pop culture news, and I don't know if you said you didn't watch it, but
I
I'm
did not
sorry.
watch snippets of
Uh,
it.
you know what? Because I had a People magazine like a couple weeks ago, and it had the point of view of her, and I should have known. There was something monetary connected to it, and a part of me is like, is that why her family is revealing all this stuff? Because there's money to be made, but evidently on Lifetime, I don't know if it was Lifetime or some
I think
cable
it's like
channel.
like
Yeah, they had a Where is
yeah.
Wendy Williams? And I guess I was watching it. I found it to be too hard. I was not a big Wendy Williams fan, although, again, whenever she was spilling a little tea, I kind of like hot topics and different things. And I would catch it every once in a while, or if something went viral, I'd watch. But I'm not the world's biggest Wendy Williams fan. But I just felt
I
really bad. I felt really badly for her.
yeah.
And I had trouble watching it. Now, I know one thing I have, and not to be throwing my business out on the street, but I think a lot of people have it, but just to raise awareness. So that's the only reason I share this. But I have Graves' disease. And what that is, it's a disease that attacks the thyroid. So most of my thyroid is gone, and I have to take medication now every day because of it. But one of the, I guess, effects of it, or one of the symptoms can be like this thyroid eye disease, and that's where your eyes really kind of blow up. And there were parts of that documentary where her eyes were just so big. It was very disturbing, and I just felt badly, and she looks like so small and frail. It was just very disturbing. But this week, I think they announced that she has that prefrontal dementia, the same condition I think that Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with, which is really sad. And if that is the case, then no, we shouldn't be doing a documentary. And that, let's keep it private, and let's get her
Well,
help and not
I think
exploit it for, what is it, fame and stuff.
I think the
Jojo says her marriage was the worst for anyone, and
yeah,
I
I think the
don't. Is
thing
she
about it
still
is
married, or I don't even
no,
know?
I don't think she is. I don't think she is. But I think the thing about it is when you do things like that and you put someone like Wendy Williams on display or put her in front of a camera and talk about it, you're kind of exposing the condition to the world because there's a lot of people who deal with dementia and there's a lot of people who deal with dementia and their families don't know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's when you put something like this out in front, you kind of if you leave like at the end, you leave a preface where okay, if you have somebody in your family that has this disease or has some sort of dementia, call this number for help.
Well,
Then I think it serves a purpose.
well, you know what? And that being said, there was a disclaimer, I believe, at the end of the one episode that I did watch that that did. I don't think they gave a hotline number, but they said where to contact, um, if people are in crisis or are in need of help. So to that end, it was, I guess, a public service. Now that part I can understand. I can relate to. I can live with that. If you're serving a function as a public service, making people kind of aware, and that's cool. But there was just something about that documentary that just felt very exploitative, and like Lisa says, blessings to her. And yeah, like I said, wasn't the biggest of fans of Wendy Williams, but I still don't wish her ill, and just gotta pray on it. Gotta pray about it.
I
You know what?
actually talked to her one time.
Huh? You did?
I actually talked to when she was had a radio show years ago out of Philly, and you would call in and get advice from her. I actually called in one time and talked to Wendy Williams and got advice from her.
Oh, cool. What'd you get advice about?
Oh, my marriage, my failing marriage.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
And was Wendy Williams at all helpful to you?
Yeah, well, yeah, she was helpful. I just didn't know she was helpful. She told me to get the hell out. I
And, and I guess you didn't listen
I didn't listen.
at the
She
time.
said she said your wife ain't doing right. You just you got to put your foot down. And I didn't really listen. And here we are.
And here we are.
Here we are. And this is what it is. But in any event, yeah, bless her, and hopefully things work out
Oh, you know
for
what?
her and
I,
her
I
family.
added I added a pop culture news that is kind of self-serving. So can I
Go ahead.
list
Go
that
ahead.
piece of news? Okay. And it is Barbecue opens in Hickory, and Barbecue is a play by Robert O'Hara, and it's one that we're doing at the Hickory Community Theater in Hickory, North Carolina. For those of you who are in the area, if you are in the area and you do come and check out the play, by all means, please hang out for a few minutes. Oops, sorry, I made that way too big. But this is the cast of Barbecue that I'm flashing up here for you. But if you do come to the show, by all means, hang out. It takes me a minute to get out of my costume to come out to greet you. But I think somebody was asking for me. So I was hurrying up to try to dress. But by the time I got out, they had left. And, whoever that was, if you're listening and you came to see the show, we really appreciate it. But again, it's this play by Robert O'Hara. It is rated R because it's strong language and adult themes. And basically it's about these two parallel families, and you hear the tale as they try to pull their one family member into drug rehab, and I play Marie, who has a minor crack problem, but there you go.
What problem?
I'm sorry.
You have a minor what problem?
Alcohol and crack problem, you know.
Are you the one that's trying to get into rehab?
Actually, surprisingly, no.
Wow.
I'm not.
Wow.
Because the one they're trying to get in the rehab has an alcohol, crack, and mental illness problem. So there's a lot going on there. But that is Barbecue. It's at the Hickory Community Theater. And actually, I have one comp left. So if you are in the area, if you are watching this, DM me at KWalk Comedy. Let me know if you want to go, because you could get that last comp that I got. It was a good time. It was a good time. Lisa says it's a good time. And Steve is in the house. Hey, Steve.
Steve!
Steve. But yeah, so
Steve!
that was uh the play. So I just wanted to throw that in on pop culture news. So that we opened. And actually, I think opening night, I don't think we sold out. We sold out last night, Saturday night. Tonight we sold all but 3 seats. So, and it's a small,
Nice,
black box kind
nice.
of theater
Nice.
space. It's not
I
huge.
wish I could come. I wish I could come down there and see it. Because as you all know, we're coming from the north and the south. Kathy from North Carolina and me from South Jersey. So I am away from my sister, and I wish I could go down there and support her. Like the last time she did a play, and I surprised her, and I showed up, and she
Oh, that
didn't
was
even know I
cool.
was there.
Yeah, that totally threw me off. I didn't expect, but and I think you came to the last show, and
I came to the
unfortunately,
last show.
for the last show, and theater folks, this, you also have to tear down the show, so um, you have to do breaks. So here, my parents had flown my brother in, and we were all going to go out for dinner, but they had to go start having dinner, waiting on me because I had to take nails and stuff out of boards and help put up props and all this kind of stuff as we tear down the show because it was the last night. Hopefully for this play, it won't be too bad because it all takes place in a park. So we just got a big bench to get rid of and some fake food. So, but it's a fun time. So if you can check it out, definitely check it out. All right, we are way into it, but I know hey, 20 minutes into it or so to talk about our topic tonight. And again, on that note of the play, because I've been doing the play and it's been tech week this week. So that means I've had a lot of nights till like 10, 11 o'clock at night and working all day. In fact, I woke up so sick Friday, I couldn't even go to work because I was just like, I think Thursday night I thought I felt warm and I had a little bit of a temperature. I was only 99, but still enough of a temperature to keep my butt in bed. But so needless to say, my usual slide deck, I don't have it today. So, you know, um, I'm just singing the sad trombone. That's all.
All
But our
right,
topic for okay, go ahead.
so we are going on to our topic. Our topic is, like I said earlier, movies.
And you know what? Can I say something else?
Yes.
Usually you send me the list and you sent it Monday. So I had it for a long time. I just, got so caught up, but I couldn't even print it out because my printer evidently, one thing of ink isn't enough. Even if I have black ink, it still won't print, but I'm missing red. So now it won't print anything. So it's been one of those things, but go ahead.
One of those weeks. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah. Oh,
So
now it's working.
we're going to start with movie. Now, the first one we're going to start with is A Christmas Carol from 1938. And of course, Christmas Carol is the story of Scrooge. And it's I forget which one starred in that one. Who
Was
starred
that
in that one?
Alistair Cook or?
I believe so, in 1938. And everyone has their favorite because that's usually everyone's favorite Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then in 1970, they did a Scrooge, which was a musical. And I remember this very well because the last song I liked the most, where he's all a changed man because he's not dead, because that'll change a man. And
Okay,
and the
actually,
song is
the
"Thank
one
You
I'm
Very
thinking
Much."
of, it wasn't Alistair Cook, it was Alistair Sim, and that was in 1951.
Yeah, but this one was before that. This was in 38.
Oh, okay. All right. See, I
So
don't remember that
that was
one.
the first one. There was the one in 51 with Alistair Sim. But the one in 70 was a musical. And the song was "Thank You Very Much." Thank you very much. It's the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me. And that was at the end of the musical of Scrooge. Now, the musical I want to talk about also was Scrooge, which I think is the best rendition of the Scrooge story, A Muppet's Christmas Carol.
A Muppets
I'm
Christmas
telling
Carol.
you, if you watch the Muppets Christmas Carol, it is off the chain.
And you know what? And before you talk about the Muppets Christmas Carol, I do want to tell you, Steve. And I know, you know what? A couple weeks ago, I think our feed did not go out on Facebook, and I think it was a Facebook error because it wasn't just us. I'm a part of the Ecamm community, and there was a problem with the I forgot what they call those keys, those stream keys, and the API to stream to Facebook. I think it's a Facebook thing that was going on. And so there were a lot of groups and things that couldn't stream to Facebook, so we weren't on Facebook. It's showing me that we are on Facebook today, so hopefully that's working. But go ahead, Kenny. Why is the Muppets Christmas Carol the definitive musical version of a
Well,
dramatic
first
or
it started
non-musical
my
movie?
name as Scrooge.
What?
And the Muppets themselves, you have Frank Oz involved doing some of the voices as traditionally as he did, and Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear. It's just the way they told the story in the Muppets Christmas Carol. Now, I do have some sentimental value to this because when my son George was younger, we used to watch the Muppets Christmas Carol in the middle of July. We sit there with some Twizzlers and some fruit juice and watch a Muppets Christmas Carol. The fellas would come over like, Kenny, let's go party. He's like, no, I got George. He's like, hey, get a babysitter. I said, no, we watch him up for Christmas Carol. Get a Twizzler in the juice box and pull up. If not, see you later. But yeah, the Muppets Christmas Carol is the best version of Scrooge you will ever see.
I'm gonna have to
Trust.
take your word for it. I
Yeah, you
mean,
gotta watch it. It's on Disney. It's on Disney. So watch it.
okay, all right. A Muppets
Okay.
Christmas Carol. That's the one to watch.
The next we're gonna do, it was a drama, Auntie Mame.
Ah, Auntie Mame.
And the musical was Maine.
And Auntie Mame starred who?
Oh, why are you gonna put me on the spot?
I thought you knew it's Rosalind Russell.
Yes.
I only know because she was also the mother in Gypsy, but because I love me some Rosalind Russell. But
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Is she still alive?
I lived. No, I believe she is dead.
Okay.
Oh, you know
So
what? I probably shouldn't be killing her off. No, she died in
don't kill her off
1976.
if you don't know if she's alive or dead.
She
But
died in
Rosalind,
1976, Kenny. She died
yes,
before.
that's in 1976.
Mhm.
So okay. And when was Gypsy made?
What?
When was Gypsy made? Because that was
60.
Brooke Shields, wasn't it?
What?
Wasn't Brooke Shields in Gypsy?
What are you talking about? No,
Gypsy.
it was Rosalind Russell, Carl Malden, Natalie
Oh,
Wood.
okay. It's 62. Okay. I'm thinking of another movie totally altogether. Okay.
Yeah, you're on
Yeah,
some other
I'm off on
movie.
my movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm only human.
All
I
right.
can make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I got married once. Anyway, Maine starred Lucille Ball, and that was done in 1974. And that was the musical version of Auntie Mame. I remember seeing parts of Auntie Mame. I don't think
Hmm.
I've ever seen Mame.
I lived. I lived. I don't know. I like name.
Now, the next we have four versions of the same movie.
Ah.
And A Star is Born from 1937. A
Now, were
Star is
these
Born.
all musicals?
No, Star is Born from 1937. I watched that last night. It was instead of being a musical, this was about an actress
Hmm.
trying to make it big, and the other ones it was a singer trying to make it big. So, in 1954, they did A Star is Born, and it was Julie Garland, and it was about a singer trying to be famous.
Okay.
And in 1976, it was Barbara Streisand and Chris
Also a
Christopherson.
singer.
Yeah, also singer. And then
But
in 2018, it was Lady Gaga and what's
but
his
the
name?
original one, she was an actress.
The original one, she was an actress, and I watched that, and it was very. Here's what I like about old movies, and I was talking about this with my mother the other day. They talked
You
different.
say it like you're the only one, you know. I was talking about it with my mother. It's like with our mother.
Okay, our mother.
I'm
You know.
like,
Okay, jeez.
what,
I'm saying
what
my
is
mother for
that?
the audience sake.
I was
I'm
talking
saying
about it with my mother.
I'm saying my mother for the audience sake because she's our mother, but she's not their mother.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's just the way you said
So
that because it's like you're talking to me and you're like,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
know. I know.
Go ahead.
So
Tell your
they
story.
talk I like the way the language was. And those days and how they acted in the language. And I made a comment, and she said, "Yeah, well, back in the 50s and 60s, people actually did talk differently than what they do now.
Hmm.
So it was a more of a proper speech where we've become more relaxed."
And you know what? I wonder what or how language will evolve in another 50 or 100 years. Because if you think about it, where the majority of people now are texting in that kind of shorthand kind of format, I wonder will that influence the way people
I
actually
think
start to
well,
speak?
I think in the future generations, speaking will be more cut short, more of you know, and I think talking will be kind of obsolete to each other. Really,
That's a shame. So
technically.
we're all just going to be living inside our our Apple
Instead of
Vision
yeah.
Pros and
I
just
had
not.
a performer that she's a local comedian who is extremely funny, Eppolite,
Mhm.
extremely funny. She was telling me that she practices her comedy virtually, which means she puts on these virtual things, and there are other people in this virtual reality, and she does stand up comedy in this virtual reality, and people watch it.
Oh, that's so
And she
cool.
sent me a clip of it, and it's so cool. And I said, "Do they have poetry communities in there? Because I'm thinking about getting me in 70s and doing this. This
Oh,
would be
like
nice."
the metaverse glasses?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
metaverse classes. Yeah.
Cause those are a couple $100, whereas that Apple Vision Pro is a couple $1,000. I gotta wait till they
Wow.
come up with the, you know, not the pro version, but the regular Joe version,
And not broadcast
that's only a
television
couple
movies
hundred
anytime
bucks and maybe I can get on board. I mean, it looks like a
soon.
blast, and I think it's gonna be,
Yeah.
again, a more future forward thinking thing, but that sounds
Well,
pretty cool.
I didn't see the I didn't see the Julie Garland version of A Star Is Born or
Okay.
the Lady Gaga version or the Barbara Streisand version. I've never seen any of those, but I did like the 1937 drama version.
The
And
drama
when I
version.
look at these movies, I spend a lot of my time going through the Google search and looking at the cast. And one of these women that was in this movie
Hmm.
was born, because this is a 1937 movie. The woman who played the grandmother in the beginning of this movie, she was born before, she was born during slavery. So before the slaves were freed, this woman was alive.
Wow.
I was kind of freaked out by that.
Wow.
She she was born before in 1863 or whatever. She was born in 1850s, and I was like, wow, this. But she was born in Austria or Australia, and she was in another country altogether, and then she came to America to act.
Oh, wow.
So that it
Pretty
was
cool.
very interesting, and a lot of people in the cast of this 1937 version of A Star Is Born were born in the 1800s, but in the 1880s, 1890s, and things like that, and older men. I see that they cast in early cinema. They cast a lot of older men in different roles, as
Okay.
opposed to now where they cast a lot of younger men. So times change. Times are different.
Times are
The
different.
Mets
Hey,
have
before
the
we go
Mets.
to the next, can I take a minute? Just a
Yes,
minute.
take a minute.
Actually, 30 seconds. Hey, that's all I need is 30 seconds. And it looks like I've lost all my good overlays. So I don't even know whether I'm going to need that long. But anyway, just to give you a reminder that Kathy and Kitty, we explain pop culture every Saturday night. And right now, we're going to be doing it on Sundays for the next 3 weeks. You can reach us on social media at our webpage, www.kathyandkenny.com. You can also hear us on Who's Got Next Radio, as well as finding us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the places that you get podcasts, including this podcast on YouTube Podcasts. I'm sorry. Actually,
You
I don't know what
you had
happened
me
to my
off camera,
overlays are all
and I was
gone.
yeah, I was sitting back because you had me off camera, and I
Right.
looked up and oh, she's got me on camera again, and I had to because when I
And I
sit back,
thought I had it. Oh, you know what? I hit the wrong overlay. So yeah, you shouldn't have been on camera because this is what should pop up so that you can see over here all the little things, all the things like our website, kathyandkenny.com. Yeah, you can sign up, get a copy of our lists before they come out, and also, check it out, subscribe so that you can know what's going on with the podcast. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. I had a Kathy only button, and then I pressed the wrong button, and it was just all Kathy and my whole scene over here, which is a nightmare. I got to delete that. I'm just having one of those days. All right, what's on your list for your next movie? Where we have a movie, then the musical remake.
yeah. So next we
And you
have
know
the
what?
match.
You didn't even put Color Purple on the list.
I did, didn't I? Is
No,
that the top of the list?
it's not on the list.
Oh wow, we had to add that to the list.
Okay, but go
We'll
ahead.
add that to the list. We'll get to that. We'll do that last. No, we'll do that before last because I like the last one to be last.
Okay.
Okay. So the Matchmaker, which starred Shirley Booth, and that was in 1958. In 1969, we had Hello Dolly, which starred Barbara Streisand. Hello Dolly.
Dolly.
Well, hello Dolly.
And I don't think I've ever seen that one actually.
Now, I don't think I've seen that one either.
And it's hard because I'm well known for hating musicals, although there are some musicals I absolutely love. We were talking about Gypsy earlier. I don't know whether there was a drama version of Gypsy, but it was supposed to be the life of stripper Rose Gypsy Rose Lee. But I just love that movie. All right, so we had the Matchmaker and Hello Dolly.
In 1948, the movie Oliver Twist was made.
Ah,
And in
Oliver Twist.
1968, Oliver, the musical, was made.
Mm.
And I remember seeing one of those. I can't remember whether I saw the musical or I probably saw the musical in 1948. And just Oliver just makes me sad. I can't. I can't with the little orphan of
You
Oliver.
can't
I
with the
can't.
little orphans.
I can't. But I'm to my daughter's name Olivia,
Mhm.
and I told if it was a boy, I wanted to name her Oliver. But my ex-wife said, "You just want him to get beat up, don't you?" He's a walker though. Walkers don't get beat up. Like, what are you talking about? So, but that was pretty much that was. So next we have two movies that I did see:
Mhm.
The
Oh, these two are
Philadelphia
good.
Story in 1940 and High Society in 1956. Now, here's what I want to say about the Philadelphia Story. Katharine Hepburn in the 40s was a fox. She was hot. If I was alive back in those days, I would have been a big Katharine Hepburn fan because it was something about her that was just cool and sexy at the same time. And High Society, the musical,
Mhm.
where Grace Kelly took the role, took the lead role, and it was
Who
Bing
ironically
Crosby.
is actually from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yes, Grace Kelly is from Philadelphia, and Princess Grace when she passed away, and Frank Sinatra and Louis Armstrong was in this one also, and that's what made it a musical. I'll be honest, I like the Philadelphia Story better than I like High Society, and I like musicals, and I'm a Frank Sinatra fan.
Hmm.
I thought that Grace Kelly's portrayal of the character Tracy Lord wasn't as good as Katharine Hepburn. Katharine
I
Hepburn
can hear
kind
you.
of personified this character and made this character come to life, whereas Grace Kelly, I thought, was kind of too one dimensional and plastic in this
Mm,
interpretation. And I think at the time the theaters were going off the fact that they had Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra in the same movie.
right.
And you had a pretty
So they know
girl
they
like,
were getting butts in the seats.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you had a beautiful woman like Grace Kelly, who I'm not going to throw no shade, but her looks weren't as iconic as Katharine Hepburn.
Okay. There are people who
Like
would
I
disagree, but
like if I was back in those days and Katharine Hepburn was standing in front of me and Grace Kelly was standing in front of me and I had to choose with a gun to my head, you don't put an artificial gun. But if I had to choose with a gun to my head, which one I wanted to go out with, it would automatically be Katharine Hepburn.
okay.
Grace Kelly, just I didn't see the fascination.
I got you.
But acting wise, I thought Katharine Hepburn is Katharine Hepburn, of course.
Hmm.
And I read some backstory on Katharine Hepburn as I was watching this movie, and I read some. When I watch these movies, I Google and I read the backstories of certain people, and this, that, and the other. And Katharine Hepburn said back in those days she was very selfish, and she was a me, me, me type of person. So this is why she never had kids.
Oh, wow.
This is why she never formally got married again, even though she lived with Spencer Tracy for a long time, but he was married, but he didn't want to get a divorce. And I have there's a
She
theory
was
the
living
fact
in
that
sin. Okay.
yeah, living in sin, but there is a theory that they both were gay,
Hmm.
and that's why they were together, and their their situation was invented for comfortability. Like they were friends and they loved each other, but the thing of it is that if they did this, then people wouldn't know that they were gay. Now, Catherine Houghton, who was and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and her niece, said there's no evidence to prove that she was
Hmm.
bisexual or a lesbian in
Oh,
any
okay.
event, in any way involved. So it is speculation. But you did, when you did stand up comedy, you did play at a place that was a gay bar called Hepburn's.
I did.
Yes, you did. I
Okay.
remember being there. That's the night you told the joke that at the table, the
Oh,
people, the LGBTQ
it
told you it was
killed at the
funny.
table.
And yeah, you killed at the table at the bar. Everybody laughed, and then you went on stage and did the joke, and nobody laughed. And all you heard was the gay community in the background cracking up. And then I was in the back of the room cracking up, and you go, it was funnier at the bar. And then I just started cracking
I
up even
killed at the
more.
bar.
And my girlfriend at the time was looking at me like, "What the hell is so funny?" I'm like, you had to be there."
You had to be there. Okay.
So that was my take on that.
Reliving my
Now,
comedy nightmares. That's what
yeah,
I
yeah. Well,
like.
it was hilarious. It was hilarious. So next we have Pygmalion and My Fair Lady. Pygmalion, I wanted to look at before we did the show, and I didn't get a chance to look at, but I did see My Fair Lady,
I don't think
and
who was in Pygmalion? Do you remember
I
or
don't know who's in
what the
Pygmalion
credits
off
were?
the top of my head. I'm going to tell you in a minute, but I don't know who's in Pygmalion.
Oh, Leslie
Um,
Howard and Wendy Heller. That's the 1938 version. There were
yes,
several other versions as well.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God,
So,
there's like
and
10, 15
of course,
versions.
My Fair Lady was Audrey Hepburn and Rex Harrison,
Hmm.
and I know
Now
this very
that
well
one I
because
liked.
yeah, I like that one. I
I
like
actually
that
own a digital copy of My Fair Lady.
really.
I will never
Now
let a
back,
woman in my life.
I watched this too because back in the eighth grade, as
Okay.
you know, I
As you
was
know,
in an
as
all
we go
black
back in the time
production.
machine
Yes, I was in an all black production of My Fair Lady, and I grew up in
called
alongside an all black town. And because of that, we called it My Foxy Lady, and I was Henry Higgins. Instead of a ballroom dance, we had a disco where we played the Brothers Johnson stomp.
Was that it was the late 70s people, so early 80s, late 70s.
In the early '80s, it was like 80, it was like 1980, 1979. But yeah, and I was Henry Higgins, and I am not a singer, but the way Rex Harrison did his parts was the way I did my parts. Excuse me.
That kind of talky singy thing.
Yeah, a talky singing kind of thing. A talky singing kind of thing. So that was my experience with that. And it was very fun doing it. Shout out to Teresa Williams and Leonardus Kittles and everybody who was a part of that from my childhood. We had a great time doing that. And I got that. I was out. Miss Romero, bless her heart, gave me that part and asked me to do that based on the play that we were both in about Lawnside.
Oh, okay.
Remember we were in a play about Lawnside
Your memory is
about
better than
how long
mine.
yeah, how Lawnside came up, and we did a scene where I played a reverend, I played a pastor that was preaching to
It's
everybody.
vaguely coming to me.
Yeah, based off that scene, Miss Romero, got in touch with me and said, "Hey, you're in the eighth grade. I want to do an eighth grade play. I want you to lead this eighth grade play because I think And Miss Romero kind of got me on my journey to be on stage and be in
Okay.
front of people. So I really, I will always bless that woman's heart. Love her for that. And but my Foxy Lady was the black version that we did. So next we have two of my favorite movies.
I actually did watch these two movies this week. I think I
Did
might
you
have
love
watched
them?
them. I might have watched them Saturday night right after the show. I just stayed up Saturday night and watched these two movies. I didn't
Ball of
study my
Fire,
lines, but I watched these two
Ball of
movies.
Fire in 1941, and A Song Is Born in 1948.
And that's
Now,
like on our list, that's one of the shortest kind of turnover periods because you're
yes,
talking 7 years, where most of these were over some over decades, one or two decades for the make and the remake. But for this particular one, that's only about 7 years. Now, I have to tell you, I actually enjoyed Ball of Fire more,
really,
the non-musical. And
yeah, I
I mean, A
really.
Song is Born, and again, A Song is Born, not to be confused with A Star is Born, it's actually they're both very good movies, I think. But I actually enjoyed Ball of Fire a little bit more.
I enjoy both of them, and I love both of these movies. Ball of Fire starred Barbara Stanwyck and Gary Cooper, and it is an awesome movie. It's lighthearted. It's very. Barbara Stanwyck is another one of those iconic women from old movie days that is just phenomenal
And I
and what
think I
she
like
did.
Barbara Stanwyck in that role more than I did the
Virginia
actress in,
Mayo,
yeah, and who was in Song is Born?
Virginia Mayo.
Virginia Mayo. I think maybe that's why I enjoy Ball of Fire more. Now, Ball of Fire, 1941, is black and white, but A Song is Born is in color. And to me, the thing that sticks out about A Song is Born, and this is why you should go look this movie up. And in fact, I watched both of them on YouTube, I believe. But I have YouTube Premium. I don't know if that makes a difference, but you can find them both on YouTube. uh, with The Song is Born, you're going to see a lot of appearances by some musical legends.
Yeah,
Everybody from,
yeah.
Benny Goodman to Satchmo to, I mean, just
Lionel
about any
Hampton,
Lionel Hampton, anybody you can name as a jazz music great in
Tommy
the
Dorsey.
late 40s. Tommy Dorsey is in that movie. So, yeah, A Song is Born as a musical, I enjoy. You know why? Because the music, again, it's not really a musical in the sense where they're singing, part of the story and song or all that kind of stuff. It just has music incorporated in it. So, but it's heavily incorporated because in Ball of Fire, what are they trying to find? They're trying to they're putting together. Wait, A Song Is Born. They're doing like
And,
this
and both
music.
of these, in both of these movies, they're doing a. In both of these movies, they're doing
The
a
encyclopedia, but in Ball of
they're putting,
Fire, it's just language that they're looking
it's just like,
into.
yeah,
But
but
in A Song Is Born, it's actually music.
yes,
And I thought it was really cool that the woman who is commissioning the work, they got the same
Mrs. Houghton.
actress,
Yes, I was just
Totten,
thinking of that.
Mrs.
That's Mary
Totten.
Field.
She was the same actress in both movies, and
Mary Field.
Merryfield, and with the same kind of uh, uh, juxtaposition as far as her flirting with the lead or being attracted to the lead.
Yeah.
Whether it was Gary Cooper or Danny Kaye, they both had these little flirty scenes with Merryfield.
Yes, and here's the thing about a song is born. You know, you had so many different musicians in this movie that contributed to this, and this is like to us they're jazz musicians, but in the 1948 these were the pop musicians.
Pop
These
musicians
people
of the
were
time.
the these people were the Ushers and the Princes and the Michael Jacksons. These people were the Justin Biebers or whatever you want to call them, or the Nicki Minaj's of their time in this movie, and that's what made it so great. One of the things in A Ball of Fire is the one scene when they do, it's not a musical, but Barbara Stanwyck's character is
Oh, she's
a nightclub singer.
yeah, she's a nightclub singer.
So she does a scene in when we first see her, and she does a scene where she's singing, and at the end of her singing, she is with the Gene Krupa band. Gene Krupa was a popular band drummer back in those days, and during one of the breaks, he took a couple of matchsticks and he was playing matchsticks, and the director said, "We need to put that in the movie." So that one scene where she comes down and he plays the matchsticks,
Hmm.
that was an improv scene because the director on the spot put that scene in the movie because during the break, Gene Krupa was hanging out and just playing with matchsticks.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the story behind that one scene there. I love both of these movies. I think they're great. And if you get anything from my podcast tonight, please go see one of these movies. They're awesome.
Ball of Fire and A Song Is Born.
Now we're going to throw in our next one that's not on my list, but we're going to do the Color Purple and the Color Purple. Now everyone knows the original Color Purple, which was done in I'm pulling it up now. Sorry,
Was
and
it 81 or 80? Like how?
1985. The original
85.
Color Purple was done in 1985.
Okay.
So the original Color Purple was done in 1985.
Okay.
And of course, that had celebrities in it: Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, Danny Glover, um, Margaret Avery. It was such a, Lawrence Fishburne was in that. Ray Dong Chung.
I'm sorry. I actually have to sing that in this play, so that's kind of funny that we're
Okay,
talking color
so
purple.
this was the perfect movie. The Color Purple was the perfect movie.
And
It
it's
was one of
really
those
a
movies.
shame because it lost a bunch of Oscars to Out of Africa. And I think more
Yeah,
people can probably remember seeing The Color Purple, can probably quote you. I had a student that used to quote the Sophia's line from the table, like verbatim, can quote you the Color Purple. And I don't
yes.
even think anybody remembers the plot line of Out of Africa. I mean, I barely remember that it was Meryl Streep and Robert Redford, but anyway, I digress.
It
But
was
yeah,
the
the
way
Color Purple, the
society.
original was
Look,
perfect.
look,
Now,
two white people in Africa get an award, while black people playing black people with a better movie don't get nothing. Okay, it's America. What do you want? I'm sorry. I went on a rant. I'm sorry. Don't. It just makes total nonsense. But
Now,
you put black people in Africa, you won't make a move. This. Okay.
now I know
Anyway,
you put down Romeo and Juliet, but you didn't give me the year, so I know there are multiple years.
okay.
But
I'm not finished with Purple because we haven't talked about the musical.
oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
The musical Color Purple, which came out last year,
December actually, Christmas.
December, and is already on HBO. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I tried to watch this movie and I could not get through it. I got through half of it. This was the worst interpretation of from drama to musical that I've ever seen in my life.
I have to disagree because now here's the thing. This started off as a play on Broadway, and I did go see the play, and I did not terribly enjoy it. And I think maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace for it at the time. But I actually enjoyed the movie more so than I even enjoy. Usually, live theater, I really enjoy. Les Mis is probably one of my favorite, like musicals to see live. I think I've seen it on Broadway like 3 or 4 times. Actually, I think I've seen it 4 times in 3 different theaters. That I mean, and to me, and that's for me to say that that's some high ass praise because not only do I hate musicals, but I really hate like story and song where there's no words and they're just singing everything. But Les Mis, anyway. But yet
You didn't
I
like
wasn't crazy.
Hamilton?
I didn't. Oh, I loved Hamilton. I enjoyed Hamilton. I wish I had seen it on Broadway, but I did enjoy Hamilton. But usually that type of thing I don't enjoy. But in any case, with the Color Purple movie, I actually did enjoy it and appreciated it for what it was. This musical interpretation. Yes, it was. It wasn't verbatim the same exact as the movie. Although I was a little annoyed because in the theater, see, you can't go to theater with black folk. Cause you know what? There was one woman in the theater who was, doing the Miss Seeley speech when she leaves with Sugar Avery. And and they kept that
I didn't.
speech
I didn't even get that far watching
they
this
kept
movie.
that speech pretty much the same, but then you got somebody like quoting it, and it's almost like everything in me to say, "Shut the hell up! I'm trying to watch the movie." But But in any case, I did enjoy it. I have not watched it now that it is on HBO Max. Maybe I will give it a rewatch. But I think if you were a fan of the original Color Purple, I would give it a watch. I know that the Color Purple, usually they say the book is always better than the movie. I specifically remember not or struggling to read the book because it was kind of written in from Seeley's perspective and that kind of her broken English, and I really struggled with the book. And when I first tried to read it, I couldn't. So after seeing the movie, it really helped connect the dots for me. And then I was able to read and enjoy the book by Alice Walker, no relation, but or I'm saying no relation. I don't know, but
I didn't think Fantasia was good in this at all.
oh wow, Steve Johnson is saying that his nephew and niece did both plays and musicals, and the production was good and entertaining. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times, especially um, with theater too, a lot of people when they come to theater, they do want the spectacle of a musical. And I know even for the theater that I'm working with now, the Hickory Community Theater, like their big shows that go on the main stage are usually like the big like musicals. That's why I thought it was kind of rare to see something like the Color Purple. I'm sorry, Raisin in the Sun on their main stage. Because again, I don't know whether enough people or a lot of people come out to see straight plays because usually when people go to the theater they want the spectacle of a musical, but me, I could take it or leave it. Maybe that's because I can't sing, I don't know. Bitter hotline,
I
Kathy speaking.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna say Kathy liked it. I'm gonna say if you have anything else better to do, laser eye surgery, sitting in an insurance seminar, you know,
Do that.
talking to
Don't do the
someone
color
who
purple.
bullshits
I hear you.
me. Do that instead of watching this movie.
All right.
That's what I'm gonna say. If you have a dentist appointment and you got to get root canal work
Root
done
canal instead of this movie.
instead of this movie.
That's brutal. That's brutal. All right.
If you're single and you have a date that you know is going to be a bad date, go on a date.
Okay, you got
It's
2 minutes. We got to wrap it up. We're at the hour mark.
okay.
So let's get to the
So
last
next
one
we're
on the
going to go
list.
to Romeo and Juliet, West Side Story, and West Side Story. Now, there's no date next to Romeo and Juliet because Romeo and Juliet was a play, and I couldn't find a film version that was before West Side Story came out. The film versions I found came out in the '60s after West Side Story, which
Okay.
I'm kind of, I'm kind of,
So that's like the opposite. That's like the musical
yeah,
then
it's the
movie.
opposite.
But
But we all
actually,
know the
Romeo
story
and
of Romeo and
Juliet,
Juliet.
right, is old as time. You know, um, Shakespeare. But that just goes to show that, and I think even for I don't know when Pygmalion was written, the original, the source material. So a lot of times, again, with movies and different themes, we've seen like the whole Romeo and Juliet kind of, star-crossed lovers from, that theme is played over and over again, maybe to different variations. What was that movie with Aaliyah? Um, oh gosh, I can't think of it.
Oh, Romeo Must Die.
Yeah, like they put different twists on it, but that whole theme of
Yeah,
star-crossed lovers is,
yeah,
is not a new thing.
yes.
But I
And
do
okay,
remember
that
being in
story.
in school when we went to ILC, and I remember uh, seeing Romeo and Juliet, and then like one day we watched Romeo and Juliet, and then the contrasting movie would be the 1961 version of West Side Story.
West Now, West Side Story is a classic. It's a 19. It's a musical classic that everyone loves. I have since we had Ed Rico on our show a few
Oh yeah.
years ago. I looked at this a little differently since I
Yeah,
know it's not
it's
as
like
revered by Latino speaking people as we see it, and I still love the dance scenes. I still love you know, my favorite scene in this whole movie is the very beginning where the Jets are walking through and Riff is in the front and the guys start dancing and Riff goes, yeah! Da, 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 da. And that's
you
one of my
just like the
favorite parts.
Bob Fosse of it all.
Yeah, I did like the Bob Fosse of it all. But, you know, the new West Side Story done in 2021, I thought was horrible.
I didn't
None of the
enjoy it as
actors,
much.
yeah,
I
none of the
wanted.
actors stuck out as much as the actors in the 1961 version. All the guys in the Jets looked alike. There
Mhm.
was no diversity in the Jet. The Jets are going to be a bunch of white guys, of course, but there was like in the 1961 version, everyone looked kind of differently, kind of like Ahab, but in the 1920 in the 2021 version, there was no distinction on Baby John and Ahab and Rip, and there was no distinction in none of these characters.
Mm.
And I think in the 2021 version, they lost the element of the originality of the 1961 version.
Mm.
And it was something that like some things you should film or you should do a walkthrough and you should say, you know what, let's not do this. And nobody said let's not do this in 2021, and they did it anyway, and it was just bad.
I'm sorry, I said Bob Fosse. It was Jerome Robbins. That
Jerome Roberts, okay.
yeah.
And
My bad.
so Romeo and Juliet has been done many a times. It was a version after the fact with Leonardo DiCaprio
Hmm.
playing Romeo,
And was that
and kind of
Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire
modernized,
Danes?
huh?
Was it Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes?
I believe so. Yes, and it was kind of modernized to
Mm.
the current time, and I never
Oh,
seen that one.
we should do, Kenny. We should. Oh, you probably won't want to do it though.
What?
A Shakespeare show.
Now, if we do a Shakespeare show, we're going to have to confront the idea that Shakespeare might not have been a real person
Okay.
because the theory is Shakespeare wasn't really alive back then, and
Mhm.
it was probably someone else who wrote under the name William Shakespeare, or a bunch of people who did plays and wrote them under the name William Shakespeare. So we would have to test the theory on
Interesting.
that.
Because we
But
could also talk about the top movies and adaptations of Willie Shake's
plays,
work.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be a good topic. But March is Women's Month.
Women's
So
History
for our
Month.
next show, yes, March is Women's Month. So for our next show, I thought we would do female action movie stars,
Ah, the female action.
women-led action movies, and like because we could talk about Sigourney Weaver and Alien. We could talk about Scarlett Johansson being Black Widow, even though it was a
ScarJo.
sucky movie. We could talk about a whole bunch of
Yeah,
women
I
who
tried to
led
watch
these
that movie
movies.
and I didn't make it through it. I need to go
What
back
movie?
and watch Black
Black
Widow.
Widow? You don't.
I
You're not
tried.
missing anything. You did not
Now,
miss anything.
are we talking women action stars? Because then you can get into Angelina Jolie territory with Tomb Raider, or are we just
Yes.
talking superheroes?
No action stars. Women action stars.
Okay.
Because Sigourney Weaver in Alien was the superhero.
Oh, okay.
And she's the most popular first women action star. And you can talk about Barbarella, Jane Fonda being Barbarella.
We could do that.
You know,
Was she an
so
action star or was that comedy?
well, she was action.
All right. Okay.
I
I'll
mean,
give it to you.
Barbarella was, action.
Okay. All right. To me, just an
Gina
excuse to have
Davis
half
did
naked
action
Jane
movies.
Fonda on screen. All right,
Yeah,
so
Jane
that's where we'll
Fonda
go.
and the
We'll go
quarter
with
and the quarter Bridget Fonda did an action movie
we'll
too.
call it Women in Action.
Women in action. Yeah, Charlie's Angels.
Cha.
Ta-ta!
Charlie's Angels. No, that's TV action.
No,
Although,
they did a movie
there was a
too.
movie. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's a movie.
Charlie's
Angels
Angels
movie.
was a movie. Oh,
Yes.
snap. Okay. So Women in Action next week
Women in action next week. We're gonna do that Sunday night.
on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Thank you guys not only for stopping by. I see the thumbs up for giving us the likes. We love it. If you haven't, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we do it every weekend now. I can't say I want to say every Saturday night. I'm so conditioned to saying every Saturday
Scooby
night.
Life is in the house. Scooby Life, what's up, baby?
Scooby Life is in the. I just put the
You're at the
comments
end,
away.
Scooby
That's
Life,
why I didn't see it.
Yeah, you're at the end, Scooby Life, but that's okay.
Uh-oh. Oh gosh.
Why you
And
moving me around?
I don't know, cause my I didn't lock my scene. I guess that's why I'm moving you around. 'Cause I was.
Every time, look, you do this all the time. Every time I kick game in Scooby Life, you always do something to cockblock. I'm just saying.
I'm just. I can't find my screen. Leave me alone. I'm looking. Leave me alone. Let me go.
Halle Berry, yeah, Halle Berry did Catwoman, JoJo. You're right.
Oh, that's right, Holly Berry.
Halle Berry did Catwoman, and she did John Wick. She was great in John Wick. The whole thing when she was fighting with the dogs. Oh my God!
Was she in the first John Wick or?
No, she was in the third John Wick.
Okay,
and
because
she
I
had
watched
these
the first John Wick, and I'm like, when did I miss Holly Berry? She was in
Yeah,
another
no, she
action
had this-
movie.
she had
I
this-
can't
she had-
remember.
she had
Well, we'll talk more
Catwoman.
about it next week. We will be here
Yeah.
Sunday night again until the end of. Actually, Kenny, yes, the next 2 Sundays we'll be here 7:30, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Till next week, we wish you love, peace, and pop culture.
God bless your soul and keep living peace.
Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.